Powers. We know various rules for powers. Here are some of these rules, like a to the power p times a to the power q is a to the power p plus q. If we multiply a and b and then take a power, then we can also multiply the two powers of a to the p times b to the p. By a to the power minus b, we denote 1 over a to the power p. A particular example is if we have a fraction in the exponent, then we're looking at roots. So a particular example is a to the power 1/2, that's the square root of a. And a to the power 1 over n is the nth root of a. So if we have a to the power a fraction p over q, we mean that we take a to the power p and then the q root. Taking a to the power p and then to the power q is the same as taking a to the power p times q. A to the power minus p over q is 1 over a to the power p divided by q. And finally, if we have a fraction a over b to the power p, then it's a to the p divided by b to the p. Here is an example. 3 times a to the power minus 2 over 3 times b, between brackets square, divided by 2 times a squared times b to the power minus 1/3. Well, how can we simplify this? Of course, we can first take the square root in the enumerator and we find 9 times a to the power minus 4 over 3 times b squared. We leave the enumerator as it is. Now, we set this 9 and 2 apart. We have 9 over 2. Then we look at the power of a. In the enumerator we have a to the power minus 4 over 3. And then we divide it by a squared. So that's a to the power 6 over 3. So that gives us in total a to the power minus 10 over 3. If you look at b, well, we have a b squared and we divide by b to the power minus 1/3. So that will be b to the power 2 plus 1/3, and that's b to the power 7 over 3. Equations and inequalities involving powers can be solved. Well, what's the general rule here? If we have a number a and we take a power of that, and we set that equal to a to another power, then what we do know is that the both exponents have to be the same. So expression 1 has to be equal to expression 2. Why is this the case? Well, because a to the power x is increasing, at least when a is bigger than 1. But if a is less than 1, but bigger than 0, then it's a decreasing function. But in both cases it's monotonous. So expression 1 has to be equal to expression 2. Here is an example. 2 to the power x plus 1 plus 2 to the power x plus 3 is 320. How do we solve that? Well, we try to make one power of it, namely 2 to the power x. Then we find that 2 to the power x times 2 plus 2 to the power x times 2 to the power 3 is equal to 320. So 2 to the power x times 10 is equal to 320, and we deduce that 2 to the power x has to be 32, which is 2 to the power 5. But now we have two powers of 2, and that means that the exponents have to be equal, so x has to be equal to 5. Another example, 16 to the power 3x plus 3 is equal to 8 to the power x squared plus 4. From this we deduce that 16, which is 2 to the power 4, to the power 3x plus 3 is 8, which is 2 to the power 3, to the power x squared plus 4. And we deduce from this that 2 to the power 12x plus 12 is equal to 2 to the power 3x squared plus 12. So both exponents have to be the same, which means that 12x plus 12 is equal to 3x squared plus 12. And we find that 3x times x minus 4 is equal to 0, so x is 0 or x is 4. If we have inequalities involving powers, then of course we rewrite that to the powers of the same a and compare exponents. We first solve the equality and then decide which solutions we should have. But here we have to be careful, because if a is less than 1, then powers are decreasing. If a is bigger than 1, then powers of a give us an increasing function. So here is an example. 2 to the x is bigger than 2 to the 4, then x has to be bigger than 4, because 2 to the power x is increasing. But if we have a half to the power x is bigger than a half to the power 4, then x has to be less than 4, because 2 to the power 1 half to the power x is decreasing. An example, 1 half to the power 2x minus 1 should be less than 8. Well, 8 we can rewrite to 2 to the power 3. Then we find that 2 to the power minus 2x plus 1 is less than 2 to the power 3. Now 2 is a number bigger than 1, so we find that minus 2x plus 1 is smaller than 3. But that means that x has to be bigger than minus 1.